she screamed. "This creek belongs to the HOA." And for a split second, I just froze. Imagine standing in your own backyard, coffee barely warm in your hand, as total strangers pour concrete into the water that runs right through your property, like you're just some squatter in pajamas and slippers, not the owner of the land your feet are on. My heart started pounding so loud I barely heard her. The head of the landscape committee, all self-assured in her work boots, barking orders at workers like it was just another Tuesday. You know what I mean? You ever get that feeling like the rules are suddenly just for you, and everybody else gets a free pass? I wanted to scream, throw them out, call the cops, something. But a part of me was thinking, if I move wrong, they'll twist this on me. So what would you have done if this happened in your yard? Here's how it started. The rumble of a concrete truck wakes me up at 7 a.m. I stumble to the kitchen, rub my eyes, and there are men setting up heavy equipment, diesel fumes mixing with the morning mist, right by my creek. My creek. I've lived here 3 years, paid my dues, mowed my lawn, waved at my neighbors. Never once thought I'd look outside and see my backyard turned into a construction site. Out I go, barefoot, still half asleep, but adrenaline wide awake, walking across dew-soaked grass. There she is, clipboard in hand, looking over a survey map like she's the general in charge. She gives me that practiced HOA smile, half pleasant, half, "You're in my way," and introduces herself as Lydia Cross, HOA Landscape Committee. She says they're performing urgent drainage maintenance on community infrastructure. The way she says it, you'd think I was the one trespassing. She points at some imaginary line in the grass and starts quoting bylaws, something about CME 7.3, urgent stabilization, community maintenance. She's pointing at survey stakes at least 15 feet inside my property line. My deed says so, and I checked it twice after moving in. But the way she carries herself, I start doubting my own memory, like maybe I missed some fine print about losing half my yard to the neighborhood. "Do you have my written permission for this?" I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. She gives me that look, you know the one, like I just asked if water was wet. She waves her folder, says the HOA has authority under the CC and RS, that the county would back them up if challenged. She says the work can't wait. If it does, there's going to be catastrophic flooding, community liability, urgent this, urgent that. I asked to see the actual documentation. She promises to get it to me later, but the work can't stop. So what do? I pull out my phone and start recording. Survey markers, workers, the whole operation. The concrete truck starts pouring right into the creek, men in rubber boots shaping a new barrier where water used to trickle. They work with this weird, silent efficiency. No small talk, just shovel, pour, smooth. Lydia is there, supervising every inch, and in under 3 hours, the whole bed is a concrete trough. She posts a sign, "Urgent drainage maintenance, community property, contact HOA." Then she hands me a business card, thanks me for my cooperation, and packs up her crew. Diesel smell, concrete dust, and a knot in my gut. Standing there with that official sign hammered into my land, I felt a mix of disbelief and dread. It wasn't just about the creek anymore. This was about someone deciding they had more right to my backyard than I did, and being so damn sure nobody would stop them. The next day, I'm at the county records office, legal pads and determination in hand. Clerk helps me pull up the survey map from my house purchase. $200,000. All the property lines clear as day. That creek? Smack in the middle of my lot, not an easement in sight. Utility right-of-way, 50 feet away, nowhere near the water. I scan every page, email myself the legal descriptions, making sure I have everything in writing. I was ready to fight, but something still didn't sit right. That's when my neighbor, Rebecca, she's a CPA, loves numbers the way I love my morning coffee, calls me, says she's been digging through HOA board minutes, and something doesn't add up. There was never a vote to approve this so-called urgent drainage work. In fact, she found payments to the same contractor for water infrastructure installs all over the neighborhood, but none of it was above board. No permits, no real oversight, just Lydia signing off and invoices piling up. We sit in Rebecca's office that night. She's got spreadsheets up on a projector, every line item, every date. Turns out, this emergency had been planned for weeks, carefully coordinated, and the board had no clue it extended onto private property. Worse, The HOA's insurance policy specifically excluded coverage for construction outside association lines without homeowner consent. If anything went wrong, the whole neighborhood could be on the hook. Next morning, Lydia calls, says there's a community drainage inspection, and I should attend. I'm thinking, this is damage control, trying to get neighbors on her side before people start asking questions. I go anyway. The new concrete channel has completely changed how water moves through my land. No more gentle stream, just a man-made chute straight to the property edge. On my way home from work, the sound of running water doesn't match what I remember. I get curious, grab a flashlight, follow the creek past my boundary line, and hidden behind some bushes, there's a new water intake system. Pipes, electric pumps, a big collection tank, all tied into the HOA's irrigation. Same contractor's truck parked out front. Rebecca's invoices match the plates. That's when it clicks. This isn't about drainage or flooding. It's about siphoning water from my land to save on the community's irrigation bill. I start monitoring the creek, watching the water level drop every time the HOA's landscaping comes on. During peak hours, you can hear the pumps cycling on and off, pulling gallons out of the stream. This is straight-up water theft, dressed up as a community improvement. Rebecca and I pieced together the whole puzzle. Urgent drainage, irrigation install, all planned together, all running through Lydia, all with zero oversight. So I file a formal complaint with the county. Unpermitted work, environmental risk, you name it. Within days, County Engineer Samuel Martinez is out with his tools, measuring every inch, taking pictures, notes. He confirms, the cement channel serves no flood prevention purpose, just diverts water to the intake system. Lydia shows up, blustering about her authority, and Samuel cuts her off. Ma'am, the HOA has zero jurisdiction here. You need owner consent and county permits. None of that happened. He slaps big yellow violation notices on the pump and the cement channel. Public record, official as it gets. A week later, I get an invoice from the HOA for $12,000. Restoration costs, environmental fees, for not cooperating with community safety measures. Yeah, that happened. I call Rebecca. She's already found ironclad language in the insurance policy. The HOA is completely exposed. The board is furious. Residents are outraged at the prospect of a $4,000 special assessment per household to cover Lydia's mess. Meanwhile, I run a pressure test, block the intake for a day. Within hours, every sprinkler system in the HOA fails. Turns out the whole irrigation grid is now dependent on the water they stole from my land. Lydia's cornered, so she tries to blame me for damaging community infrastructure. Her logic? If I hadn't obstructed, none of this would have happened. The dispute heads to mandatory arbitration. David Rodriguez, the arbitrator, lays it out clear. HOAs cannot invent easements or work on private land without written consent. My evidence is airtight. Maps, emails, county notices, contractor records. Then Rebecca drops the bombshell. Emails from Lydia showing she knew about the boundary issue, but pushed the project through anyway. It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was intentional. Samuel testifies. The engineering proves the modification wasn't drainage, it was engineered theft. David rules for me. HOA pays all costs. Lydia is personally liable for every dollar over insurance coverage, and the whole neighborhood gets a lesson in what happens when authority goes unchecked. Restoration orders come down fast. County crews arrive, jackhammer out the cement, and as the natural creek flow resumes, the HOA's irrigation system sputters and fails. Water restrictions hit every household. The blame lands squarely on Lydia, who's stripped of her position by a landslide vote, with neighbors demanding stricter oversight for future projects. Permitting, restoration, penalties, it all adds up. Over $60,000 in direct costs, more in lost trust and land values. Lydia faces bankruptcy, banned from any future HOA role. Her name, now a cautionary tale. The community amends its bylaws. No more work on or near private land without full approval and consultation. A year later, standing by my revived creek, I can hear the water again, smell the clean air, and see a bronze plaque that reads, "When authority exceeds boundaries, consequences follow naturally." Kids play nearby, neighbors wave, the lesson set in stone for everyone to see. The fight nearly cost me everything, but it restored more than my land. It reminded us all that silence only rewards people who think the rules don't apply to them. So, if you made it this far, I'd love to know, what would you have done if this was your yard? Ever tangled with someone who thought they were above the law? Drop your thoughts below, right or wrong. I want to hear it. And if you believe in standing up for what's yours, share this with someone who loves a wild plot twist. Guard your creek, literal or not, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.